Namaste, everyone. Welcome to Preparing for the Shift. I'm Kathleen. Preparing for the shift involves clearing your karmic energies that will prevent you from evolving to fourth dimensional form, managing your heart brain so that you can maintain a higher frequency emotional energies status most of the time, managing your anxiety, and practicing your hand placement for emotional shock. I also have a couple of suggestions about physical preparations. If you have the financial resources and you own your own home, I recommend that you make your home energy independent. There's going to be difficulty after the 3-day evolutionary shift event with electricity because fossil fuels, uranium, plutonium, petroleum will not resonate with Earth's new electrical pulse frequency. So these products will not be in the Earth that has changed to fourth dimensional form. They will still have some available, but they will run out fairly quickly. So I recommend that if you have the financial resources, that you go ahead and make your home energy independent. Now, the decrease in electricity is going to create a water shortage. So I recommend that if you have the financial resources, that you go ahead and store water, probably a 6-month to a 12-month supply for you and your family. In addition to transportation problems because of the lack of fuel, we're going to have manufacturing problems because of the decrease in the population. Only 30% of the adults are going to evolve to fourth dimensional form. So there's going to be a significant decrease in population, which is going to affect manufacturing. So I recommend that you store a 1-year supply of dry goods, toilet paper, paper towels, cleaning supplies, whatever. I also recommend that if you are using supplements that are helping you with your physical form, then I recommend you also store a 1-year supply of these products. Now, scientists already know how to produce electricity without the fossil fuels and uranium. They just haven't pushed them because it's not been politically expedient, but it will become so after the 3-day evolutionary shift event. But it will take scientists 6 months to a year to get to the point where all of the fourth dimensional areas will have electricity and heating and cooling and a really good water supply. So I would recommend you go ahead and store items if you are financially able. If you're not financially able, then don't worry. The Creator is going to help you. People who are financially capable will actually end up storing more than what they need, so they will be able to share after the 3-day evolutionary event. Those people who live in Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., New York City, and Rome, you're going to have to create an exit plan. If you're preparing for the evolutionary shift, you're going to have to leave those cities on the first day of the 3-day evolutionary shift event. So prepare an exit strategy and prepare to-go bags, something that you can throw easily into a car so that you can boogie out of town. Let's go through the 3-day event. On day 1, you will notice that the sun will seem like it's not moving, or the moon seems like it wasn't moving. And you'll know that Earth's rotation has stopped. And this is the trigger for the 3-day evolutionary shift event. People who have not prepared will panic. And you know what panic means. People have a tendency to go into their 2-year-old mode, and they get angry and they start acting out. So you're going to see more crime. You may see some rioting that during this 3-day evolutionary shift event. So as soon as you recognize that this event has started, bring your family home and shelter in place. Now, that doesn't mean you get to lay around and do nothing. I think you should constantly Manage your higher frequency emotional energies, especially try to calm yourself down and have a peaceful feeling. Manage your anxiety, watch for emotional shock. If other members of your family have not prepared, you need to teach them where to put their hand placement so that they don't go into emotional shock. Or if they do, teach them the hand placement and they should help pull them out of emotional shock. You can always try. You can also always reach out to friends and family. Don't go over there. You're not allowed to leave the home, but you can talk to them by phone. You can talk to them on Facebook or FaceTime. Explain to them that this is a normal event. Earth normally changes its rotation every 26,000 years. Try to keep them calm. The Creator has a plan. Whatever you can do to keep them calm. If they have not prepared for this event, it is not the time to teach them to prepare. I'm sorry, it's too late. They can prepare later. Remember that the Creator wants everyone to evolve to fourth dimensional form. So there will be teachers in third dimension that will help them to prepare after the 3-day evolutionary shift event. On the second day, oh, and if you are living in Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., New York City, or Rome, you need to leave town. All right, on the second day, those 4 cities are going to fall into the ocean. There'll be a lot of earthquakes, new fault lines. If you are not involved in an area where there's an earthquake, then you need to shelter in place. Keep your children at home, stay home from work, don't go anywhere. So you're safer. Continue to monitor your own emotional energies, watch for emotional shock, manage your anxiety. You can on this day continue to reach out to your family and friends, try to calm them down, give them information about it's normal with Earth's rotation, changes every 26,000 years. On the third day, the electrical pulse for Earth will increase 13 hertz to 13 hertz. So people will start disappearing. When you have the areas of fourth dimensional form changing, the plants and animals are going to disappear. Some of the people are going to disappear. All children under the age of 10 are going to disappear. So you just need to stay home. You're in shelter in place and do what you've been doing. The only thing I would suggest is I wouldn't bother to communicate with your friends and family at this point, because they're going to be, if they aren't prepared, they're going to be in a panic mode and you're not going to be able to pull them out of that. So just keep you and your family safe. So what happens on the 4th day will depend on whether you evolve to fourth dimensional form, whether you stay in third dimensional form, whether you live in a fourth dimensional area, or whether you live in a third dimensional area. So let me start with the people who evolved to fourth dimensional form and are in a fourth dimensional area. Now, I'm just going to give you information about the first couple of weeks. The book, Preparing for the Shift, gives you information about what happens during the first 5 years. So if you haven't purchased that, now's the time. But I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what to do the first couple of weeks. As soon as you see that the sun is coming up in the west and going down in the east, you will know that Earth's rotation has started up again and it's in the opposite direction, and the 3-day event is over. Your sheltering in place is also over. You need to get out of your home. You need to find the others that have evolved to fourth dimensional form. This is not a time to focus on those people who stayed in third dimensional form. You cannot get invested in what they're doing and be helpful in with the fourth dimensional beings. So unfortunately, you're just going to have to, and it's going to be hard, but you're just going to have to ignore what is going on with the third dimensional beings and look for the fourth dimensional beings. Now, when you find them, if they need reassurance and you need to tell them that this is a normal thing that happens with Earth, it happens every 26,000 years, and go ahead and explain that there is a plan, they are going to be protected, and we need to function as a community. In order to thrive after the 3-day emotional event, the 3-day evolutionary event, you need to communicate as a community. So tell them, the people you find, to go to the high school. I really recommend a high school. Has a lot of rooms where people can sleep and stay, and you can divide up into groups. Also has a cafeteria, so you can figure out how you're going to feed everybody. So I would recommend everybody go to the high school. Tell them as they go to the high school, if they see other people in fourth dimension, to gather them up. If they see any children who can't be seen by their parents or don't seem to have any parents around, then gather them up and take them to the high school. Now, once you're at the high school, since you prepared, you are going to be a leader and you're also going to be a teacher. That's the role your soul has chosen. So you want to teach people where to place their hands so that they can work on their emotional shock. And you want to comfort them, explain what has happened. Earth rotation happens, changes every 26,000 years. And there is a plan. Initially, they need to do a couple of things. And so you want to focus on what needs to happen in the first 1 or 2 days. The first thing needs to happen is that there needs to be a search and rescue for all the children that no longer have parental protection. Many people will not evolve into fourth dimensional form and they will be parents. Many of the parents will die. So you need anybody who can go out and do search and rescue needs to sign up for that. They need to go out, divide up, figure out a plan, and cover the local community and find all the children. The Creator does not want any of these children to die. She would like you to gather them up and bring them to the high school. Now, if the people that are not in this directly involved in the search and rescue, they need to divide up and figure out how they're going to take care of these children when they come, how everybody is going to be sheltered. They need lodging, they need food. We need to figure that out. Be aware that initially, the first, I don't know, week or so, we're not going to abide by the laws that we have now. There's going to be no physical violence in the fourth dimension by fourth dimensional beings. That won't even be thought of. But we have, rules about stealing. And you're going to have to go and look at the grocery stores. We can't go with the system that we have now, at least not for the first couple of weeks. We need that food. It doesn't need to be spoiling inside the stores. So someone needs to figure out how to get into the stores, bring it to the high school so you can feed all the people. And there's some of you who have stored their food and you can stay in your home, but a lot of people will need to be fed at the high school. So we need cooks. People need to volunteer to be cooks. People need to volunteer to bring the food to the high school. So you'll figure that out. During the next couple of weeks, you will need to elect your local leaders. A lot of your local leaders will not evolve to fourth dimensional form. And the new mindset of a local leader will be that of serving. Their mantra will be, how can I help? But your mantra also has to be, how can I help? The days of electing local leaders or government leaders in any format, and then sitting there and complaining because you don't like the way they're doing things, has got to be gone. Community members are responsible for what goes on in the community. So you are responsible for developing a communication between the community members and the local leaders. And the local leaders must communicate to the community members. They must work together in order to make this community thrive. Now, in doing so, we need to think of a couple of things. One is we need to develop a communication between the community members and their local leaders. We need to figure out who knows how to create community gardens, because that's going to be important for survival in the next year. If you have a farm that's near your community, especially chicken farms or dairy farms, fish farms, or you happen to be around a fish industry, those need to be supported by the community. We're going to need a lot more chicken farms because fourth dimensional beings are going to be eating fish and eggs. So we need to support those industries. We'll also be drinking dairy and eating cheese. So we need to support the dairy industry. In the first couple of weeks, the leaders need to do a census of their community. And this is a lot more than I live here and I'm this age. We need to know what experiences everyone has. Everyone has experiences that will be able to help the community. So we need to know what we have. Do we have doctors? Do we have nurses? Do we have plumbers? Do we have electricians? Do we know how to, somebody know how to collect the garbage? Somebody know how to, run the electrical plant? We need to know who those people are. We also need a census or a list that tells us who we don't have. We don't have plumbers. We don't have electricians. We don't have any doctors. So your leaders know what you will need from other communities in order to thrive. After a couple of weeks, your local leaders will start communicating with other local leaders, and they'll figure out what the resources are for the different communities and how one community can help another. They'll all be worked out. I cannot give you any more details on that because every community is going to be different. I will assure you that the Creator will be sending you messengers and messages. You just need to listen. All right. So you will be guided and you will be protected. Have hope and just work one day at a time and make it all work. You're going to thrive. If you evolve to fourth dimensional form and you are in a third dimensional area, the major difference is that you're going to have to migrate. So on the fourth day, you need to come out and find the other fourth dimensional beings. Do the same thing about reassuring them, and this is normal for Earth, and show them how to do their hand placement for the emotional shock. Have them meet up at a large community building. And make sure then when you get to that meeting that they go out and find the children. That is the first priority. They go through the local community and they find all the children that do not have parental supervision because their parents are in third dimension and can't see them, or their parents died. So gather up the children. Once you have gathered up the children, your next goal is to migrate. So you need to develop as a community a migration plan, and you move to a fourth dimensional area, and then you will join a community in the fourth dimensional area. If you stay in third dimensional form and you have prepared for the upcoming evolutionary shift, you are very special because you have a close relationship with the Creator, and you have agreed to stay in third dimensional form and help others evolve to the fourth dimensional area. Remember, she wants everybody to evolve to fourth dimensional form eventually. So you are very special. You have agreed to be leaders and teachers in the third dimensional area. I really don't know how long your soul has agreed to do that. It could be anywhere from 1 to 3 years, but you have agreed to work with her. So she will not abandon you. She will be there. She will send you messages. She will send you messengers. She will send you help. She will send you protection. You just have to look for it and stay calm. All right. You have got to continue to manage your emotional energy frequency so that you stay at a higher emotional frequency of peace and calm. So on the fourth day, you come out. If you are in a fourth dimensional area, you will look for other third dimensional beings that are similar to you. Your challenge is going to be safety. And you're not going to be threatened by the people in the fourth dimension. They'll be able to see you, but they can't interact with you. They can't help you. They're not going to hurt you. You need to be leery of other people in third dimensional form because initially a large majority of them will still be functioning at the control and physical violence level. So you have got to keep yourself safe. So you will, if you're in a fourth dimensional area, you're going to have to migrate to a third dimensional area. I strongly recommend you do that as a group. Try to find people who are safe and start moving as a group. If you're in a third dimensional area already, you don't need to migrate unless you're in an area that's has a lot of violence. So pay attention to the area around you, gather up all the people who think like you, and move to a safer area if need be. If your area is safe, then just stay there. Third dimensional people will be doing the same thing as fourth dimensional people. They're going to have problems with electricity. The oil that comes from the Middle East is not going to come to the United States anymore. They're going to have to rely on what they already have. The food's going to be a problem for them also. Water's going to be a problem for them also. So you need to find yourself a community, develop a community that will try to keep yourself safe and figure out how to shelter and get food. You will then go into a teaching mode. You will be teaching people about the evolutionary shift, how the earth normally changes every 26,000 years, how we just went through that event, how the creator has chosen to have humans evolve, that the children that disappeared are really not gone. They're just in a higher dimension. Fourth dimensional beings have rescued them. They will be taken care of until their parents are able to evolve. And teach them how to manage their heartbreak. Teach them how to manage their anxiety. Teach them how to stay in a loving and compassionate mode. And that's your role for the next 1, 2, or 3 years. As always, if you have questions about what's in this video, please email me at prepare.shift@gmail.com and let me know your first name and where you live on the earth and what you want to talk about. If you haven't purchased the book, Preparing for the Shift, now's the time. If you're not going to prepare, stick it in a drawer. You're going to need it for reference in the future. The choice is yours.